So most of the people here are experienced sellers, with the exception of a couple. So I'm going to speak to them, and then I'll speak to the new sellers. Everything we do from day one is, how do we grow the business? How do we automate? How do we outsource? How do we delegate? How do we scale? And so we try, rather than trying to do the work, we try to put systems in place that will allow us to do it on a very large scale. So anybody can sell on Amazon, and do 5 figures or 6 figures. But in order to do 7 figures or 8 figures, you really have to have systems in place. So like I was talking to a bunch of you earlier, Ike and Melissa have been instrumental, and Jay, in putting systems in place that allow us to do things on a larger scale. And that's really our focus, right? Everything we do is, how do we automate? How do we delegate? How do we outsource? How do we scale? Is there software we can pay for that'll help us, for $100 a month, it'll save us 10 hours a month? Is there a VA in the Philippines that we can pay $2 to $6 an hour that'll take it off our plate? Are there people here, that whatever they're making here can help us, and those are the ways we look to do things, to solve problems. So, one of the biggest challenges is sourcing, and we've built a nice team between Jackie and Neil and Ike of sourcers. So I don't really buy anything anymore, and that's probably in the best interest of the company, because I'm more of a gambler than most buyers, especially if they're using someone else's money. As a matter of fact, they're more conservative than I would like them to be, but I guess it's better than the alternative, right? So, Jackie, nobody really needs to manage him. He does his own thing, and he'll spend $5 to $10 a day, 6 days a week, without me even talking to him. I'm like, how was your day? How'd you do? What'd you buy? Where'd you go? What'd you see? What'd you hear? It's not really. I look at his buy list every day. We aggregate it to a master sheet, which we email to you guys so you can see. Are you getting it? Is everyone getting it? Is anyone not getting it? Anyone not getting it? Bueller? Anyone? No. Okay. If you're not getting it, just see the girls. So basically, we give you that not so you should copy exactly what we're buying, but so you should get a sense. And there's a ton of information on there if you really look at it. And I really look at it. So I look at what stores is he going to, what brands is he buying, what styles, what colors, what sizes, what sales ranks, what profit margins, how many of each is he buying, and all these things, paint a very nice picture. When I add up what the potential profit is on Jackie's day versus what I pay him, we're coming out ahead by a lot. So that's what a company looks for, right? They want to 10x their employee. Is the ratio that it should be. It doesn't always work out that way, as you know. Some employees cost you money. But yeah, in order to cover all our other overhead, they have to really 10x what you're paying them for them to be worth what you're paying them. So we do that with Jackie. We do that with Neil. And Neil has taken on more as we transitioned our wholesale. We're doing more and more wholesale and less online arbitrage. And that came from me and Ike and Melissa and Gary and Neil and Jackie studying what's going on, which sourcing methods are bringing us the biggest profits, which ones are giving us the biggest problems. And what we found with online arbitrage, aside from Amazon to Amazon flips, which got much harder because Amazon is much better at keeping stock and replenishing stock, and they're not really tanking prices as much as they used to liquidate inventory. Unless it's seasonal, they're still doing that. But what we found is with online arbitrage, just so much headaches is placing the orders, then the orders get canceled or held up for suspicion of fraud, and then they get shipped, and they're shipping damaged boxes, and they ship the wrong ones, and they're pulling them off the shelves, and nobody really cares what they're sending you because they're not Amazon, whether it be Walmart or Famous Footwear. Anybody we order online arbitrage from, they suck compared to Amazon. They really do. They just suck. There's no other way to say it. So we were dealing with headaches and returns, and we had clients sending online arbitrage here. And they're like, "Oh, can you send that back? They sent the wrong one," and they'll substitute, which is shocking to me because that's fraud. But okay, that's another conversation. But they actually substitute products that you order with similar product, which is not what we ordered. But anyway, so and by the time you order it, and everybody's using fancy software now, Tactical Arbitrage Online, OA X-Ray. Everyone has VAs. Everyone's on buying lists. So online arbitrage is actually probably the lowest return we're getting from the three main sourcing methods. Private label is a separate entity, but if you compare retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, and wholesale, we had the most problems with online arbitrage. The prices tanked, and by the time the buy cycle, I call it the sales cycle. Other people like to call it the buy cycle. By the time you order the goods and it gets shipped here and then you ship it out to Amazon, it could be a month. So it's received and up for sale. That's why we love retail arbitrage. I know it seems premature, not premature, but prehistoric, but you're scanning stuff in real time. You're getting real-time data, real-time sales rank, real-time buy box price. You're bringing it back either to your house or your warehouse, and you're getting it out that day. And it's for sale a day or two later if you do an UPS. Sometimes we'll do LTL, which is less than truckload, which is pallets, but for the most part we're doing UPS, unless we have 1,000 pairs of shoes, and then it goes on a pallet, and the cost of inbound freight goes down substantially. But that stuff that you're buying at retail is the best margins you can get in this business. Better than a wholesale, better than online arbitrage. I would argue it's even better than private label for most people, because when you're doing private label, there's a lot of hidden costs that you're not calculating. Dealing with China and importing and sponsored ads and giveaways and all the other fun stuff that you could deal with private label. There's a lot of costs that people don't count. So they're like, "Oh, I'm making 50% margins or 100% margins," but you're really not. So we like to do all the sourcing methods. We like to, have that variety of sourcing, and we built a team over the years that's capable of doing it without micromanagement, which is great. That's the dream. And now we just got to manage the cash flow and manage the processing and logistics and infrastructure and all the other fun stuff. I want to stress how important it is to focus on processing and logistics, because that is the single biggest difference from when I was a one-man show to where we are today. Software, processing, logistics, technology. I was talking to a few of you earlier. If you can figure out how to automate certain processes, I know you do a lot of things manually, young lady. If you could figure out how to automate things and take that, you need to document what you're doing every hour. And you've probably heard me say this before. You document what you're doing every hour of the week and say, is this absolutely necessary? Is this something someone else can do? Is this something that needs to be done at all? And these are the questions you have to ask yourself. What I do most of my day is reading and thinking. It's not really doing much, but it's reading and thinking. And that's, I try to learn from guys like Tony Robbins and Tim Ferriss and those guys. And, I heard an interview with Tim Ferriss, and a lady asked him, "Well, what do you do every day?" And he laughed. He goes, "You'd be surprised. I usually do nothing. I walk around and I think, what's the one big domino that I can knock down that'll make everything else irrelevant?" So you got to figure out what's that one thing that you can do that'll basically be like a domino for everything else. And if you could find that, then you solve most of your problems in one shot. So I was the bottleneck in my own business. When we started, we had DVDs piled up to the ceiling, waiting for me to pick the right ASIN to put it into Seller Engine to print out the labels. We had labels running overnight because we had so many labels. And I realized I was slowing the company down, so I took myself out of the equation. I outsourced it to Jay and Ike, and, Ike figured out a lot of things, and I forced him to. I said, I'm putting you in the warehouse for a month until you get it focused, and he figured out ways to with the Scoutify with the. But that was our idea, was to email a CSV, when you're buying, so you don't have to come back and scan it again all over again. 99% of Amazon sellers don't do that. I know I would say 80% of our clients don't do that, but they're getting there. But once you do that, it makes your life so much easier. You go in the store, you tell it what you're buying, you tell it the price, you tell it the quantity, you tell it the store, you email the list, you upload it, you map it into the correct columns. And I'm not a techie, but I had no choice but to figure this out. And once you do that, we have ways to get it to all go to one warehouse, so that's exciting. And it really allows you to process thousands of units a day instead of hundreds of units a day. And it really changes the whole economies of the business, because now you're not paying $3 a piece to process each pair of shoes. You're paying 50 cents, and that adds up when you're doing hundreds of thousands of units. So everything is about economies of scale. It's about, what's the least expensive way I could process this inventory and get it to Amazon. And obviously, you could hire more people to prep and pack and ship, but you're going to end up going broke in labor costs. So you're better off putting your resources, your time, your energy, your money, your brain power into processing and logistics. If there's software that can help, pay for the software. If there's people that can help, pay for the people. If there, you know what I'm saying? And you really have to work it like I do, which is software first, VA second, team in New Jersey third, and me last. So 99% of those decisions never get to me anymore, right? And I'm focused on ACE and, the other stuff that I do. But, now we're getting back into eBay because we have $1 million in dead inventory here. So we have no choice. And so I'm trying to come up with a system for Harry and my wife to do, to scale it up. We know how to do eBay. We're just trying to figure out how to do it on a very large scale. And so, mindset is very important. You gotta think big if you want to do big business. You can't think small. You can't sweat the small stuff, Martha. You can't micromanage. You can't obsess over pennies and miss the dollars. You can't do it. It's in the long run, you're going to lose.
I did not put him up for this, I swear.
No, I know how you are. I know exactly who you are. You're a stickler for every penny. But focus on the big picture. I don't sweat the small stuff. If we make a mistake here and it costs me $50, $100, $1,000, how do we do it better the next time? I don't look to scream at someone. What did we do wrong? What did we miss? How do we do it better? How can we improve this? How do we make sure this doesn't happen again? And we move on, Maybe I wasn't like that in the beginning, but I think I was for the most part, because there's just so much opportunity out there. And if you suffer from analysis paralysis or you suffer from micromanagement, you're never going to get to, big numbers, So just, done is better than perfect. I know it's easier said than done, but, this guy's brand new. He just started, and we're struggling to get him approvals for most of the categories and brands. So he has someone else who has an Amazon account. He's selling stuff through the guy's account just so he could, you know what I'm saying? Oh, that's awesome. You got to do whatever it takes. That's what I would have done. If I was in your chair, yeah, that's exactly what I do. Whatever it takes, you got to be, what does Tony say? It's not about your resources, it's about your resourcefulness. And that's the truth. Somebody, I got a legal letter in the mail yesterday. Whatever, I'm not going to get into it. And me, the schmuck that I am, I threw out the envelope that it came in. And you're supposed to keep it so you know when you got it, and it's time stamped and this and that. And so I'm like, ripping apart my desk, and I got mountains of papers on my desk, as I always do. And I'm like, where the hell could it be? I'm saying, maybe they took out the garbage. So I went to the warehouse to the lady who changes the garbage. I said, "Did you throw out my garbage?" She goes, "Yeah, it's in the dumpster." I said, "Show me which one it is." I went in, I got the paper. So it's about being resourceful. You're not going to always make the right decisions, but I got the envelope. That's all that matters. Anyway, uh, so as far as investment goes, we look at it. Every dollar we put into our business generates about $10 in annual sales. So if we put in $100,000, it should generate $1 million in gross sales. Okay, and that's including reinvesting the money and reinvesting the money and reinvesting the money for the year. So if anyone's considering putting money into a business, taking a loan, investing money, finding money somewhere, that's about the ratio that we get. So of that $1 million, Amazon will probably take a third. And then the cost of goods will typically be about 40% of what we sell it for. So if we have $1 million in inventory, it's usually about 2.4, 2.5 million in gross sales. I don't know. Most of you have Inventory Lab. So look at your numbers on the bottom. Hopefully you have your buy costs in there. Everyone's smiling. It's a struggle for all of us. You're smiling, you're smiling, you're smiling. You got to start using Excel, dude. Talking to you, son. Dude. Let Ike can do it for you in 30 seconds. Let him do it for you. Let him show you how. You upload it to App Eagle, you upload it to Inventory Lab, and now you know it's flying. You got it? I promise you, if I could, Paul and Eloise, not Eloise, if I could tell you one piece of wisdom, you got to figure out how to do things in bulk. You cannot do things manually. It will change your life.
My whole thing, and I'm sure this is my story.
Yeah.
But when I'm towards it, I'm flying through space. Like, I want to get in, I want to get out. And
Yes.
I want to go spend as much money as fast as possible.
Yes, Jackie, I understand.
You know,
Take a step back. And what do you do when you get home?
we sort it, and then we inventory everything.
So how long does that take you when you get home?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. How is it that you can create such an accurate list? Because I'll find a product, and then I'll add some. And then I might find it again in the same store.
Right.
I look for another one, and I found it again.
So even if it's 95% accurate, isn't that better than zero?
No, I completely agree with you 100%, but I just thought that there was a need for 100%. That's why we're doing the inventory and home store. We're taking the inventory and we're taking all of everything we bought.
Are you using our inventory scan sheet? Or no. Melissa? She there?
On the phone with Brett.
Okay. We have something called the inventory scan sheet, which we have built for us. And I believe the way is they load it into the boxes and it won't scan if it's not on the shipment. And so that Ike or Melissa could speak to this, or Pablo could speak to this better than I can. But we basically pay a guy $250 a month. He built us a piece of software, and it basically is, nobody's using it, our inventory scan sheet.
For a while.
And?
It worked just fine, but we're doing single box shipments
Okay.
now. So it doesn't.
Why are you doing single box shipments?
Because we found with our people, it's faster and more accurate.
Okay.
Than using multiple box shipments and using the scan sheet.
Gotcha. Okay.
Nothing wrong with it. I like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
software.
Listen, with
For us,
Amazon's discounted shipping rates, there's no
Right.
downside. I mean, you could ship a box for $4, $5, $10, whatever it is. But you know, I'm probably the least tech savvy person in this room, but I figured out, ways to automate and do things in bulk. And obviously I got people like Ike. There's people that are very tech savvy that can save you tens of hours a week, hundreds of hours in a year. And, that's time you could be sourcing. It's time you could be sleeping. It's time you could be spending with your loved ones. You could be doing anything else. So you got to figure out, you want to have the biggest impact in the smallest amount of time, right? Anybody can work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week if you have the hustle, but you really don't want to if you don't have to, right? You want to get the best bang for your buck. So I implore everyone to use Microsoft Excel, use all the software that we use. I know it costs money. I know there's a learning curve, but it really makes your business that much better without you sweating. And, does anyone document their time in this business? No?
My employees, fine.
No, your time.
Oh, no. We don't worry.
You know what you pay your employees and you know what they're worth. So, and people that have been here before, what I like to do is I document my time by the hour. What did I do the last hour? I work for 55 minutes. I take a 5-minute break. What did I do the last 55 minutes? Was that the best use of my time? And then I walk around 5 minutes, check on the warehouse, check on the people out here. Does anyone need my help to do their job? And then I go back and I said, what am I going to do in the next hour? And I literally document it. I should probably post it, but I don't know. That'd be weird. And I say, okay, is this the best use of my time? My time's worth $1,000 an hour or whatever I say it's worth. I can't be doing $10 an hour work. Otherwise, I'm costing myself $990 an hour. So you have to think like that if you want to grow this to where you're not the bottleneck and you're not the,
How do you determine, realistically, not
Right.
realistically, how do you figure out what your time is worth as the CEO of your business?
So you know what's involved in your business. You know what gives you the biggest return on investment. And you know what the best use of your time is. So if it's not that, you shouldn't be doing it. If it's something you can outsource for $2 an hour, $10 an hour, whatever the number is, you need to be the big thinker. You need to be the big domino guy. You need to be what's next level. Okay, Paul's doing private label now. You're doing clothing and shoes when you used to do books. These are the things that make a difference. It's not, packing boxes and putting labels. Also, what you find is the higher you go in decision making, the more of a disparity there is between the people that do it well and the people that don't do it well. So if you're packing boxes and shipping it to Amazon and I bring a guy off the street and I train him, not to demean anyone that does it, but if I train a guy to do it for a week, he's going to do 95% of what you're doing, right? But if I train a guy to source, or I train a guy to do private label, or I train a guy to do wholesale, and you compare him to me or my guys, we're going to blow them out of the water. There's that much of a disparity in skills. So if there's something where the skills don't really, there's not a big difference between the best and good enough, you probably shouldn't be doing that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I know it's a weird answer, but does that make sense, Scott? I'm just trying to tailor the answer to the room because I know everyone here. So we, for the first couple of years, we didn't take a penny out of the business. We just kept reinvesting. We lived off my wife's salary. And then I made her come work with me because I saw the potential of this. And, the longer obviously the more money you can put into the inventory, the faster you'll grow. The more money you could reinvest into your business without pulling it out for living expenses or whatever you want to call it, the faster it'll multiply, assuming you have a healthy business model. And the more time you could invest in learning, not necessarily in working, but in learning, the faster you'll grow your business. Because, I always like to say you don't know what you don't know. Tomorrow I'm going to a conference in Brooklyn, and we posted it in the group. and there's going to be 7, 8, and 9-figure eBay and Amazon sellers. Now, I don't know if there's going to be something there that I don't know. I'm hoping there is. I'm hoping it's the best use of my day. But, that's something that's worth my time. It's an hour and a half away in Brooklyn, my hometown. And there's some really important people there that are doing 10 times what I'm doing on Amazon. Yeah. You're going? You should go. Make it your business to go. Yeah, do it. It's worth it. Just for the mindset. You're going to see guys there that are going to be disheveled and they're going to have payout, not to disparage any Jewish people. I'm Jewish. But these are guys that all they do is think all day. All they do is think all day. And they figure things out that none of us. There's a guy 20 minutes from here in Lakewood. He's doing, I think they said, $9 million a year on Amazon selling K-Cups. Okay, now he found an algorithm or whatever you want to call it. He found a way to buy, Paul's like, what the hell? He found a way to buy K-Cups. You know how you go to Costco and they have like assorted pack of K-Cups? So from what I understand, he's taking those, and I don't think you'll be successful if you try this because this guy's been doing this for years and he's figured out how to do it. But like if they give you, Sumatra and French roast and decaf and green tea in one assortment, he's repackaging them and selling 100 Sumatras. What's that? What's called Snapper? No, it's the K-Cups, Keurig, like the Keurig K-Cups. There's a few Jewish guys that do this. And so they're repackaging it where it's all of one flavor. Like if I go on Amazon, I only want Sumatra. I don't want decaf. I'm never going to drink decaf a day in my life. It's just not happening. So he repackages it. I don't know if he's using the original packaging or separate packaging, but he's selling truckloads of it. So much so that his landlord came here a few weeks ago and became a client. He's like, this guy's renting from me and is doing $9 million in K-Cups? Teach me Amazon. I'm like, okay, So I'm just saying everyone has their own shtick. Everyone has their own niche. Everybody finds, you found products you killed it with. She found products she killed it with. Everyone finds their own products. We had a guy, John Chartier, remember him?
Yeah.
The guy sells American flags on Amazon. That's all he sells. And it's doing 7 figures. Now, his American flags are made in America, so he has an advantage over the made in China ones, right? But, it's just like we had a guy, Craig Maxwell. He was doing millions of dollars with light bulbs, okay? He was in Ohio, and Ohio had a rebate on LED light bulbs that he was eligible for, and he went and bought out Costco and Sam's and, all the wholesale clubs of light bulbs, virtually got them for free, and sold them on Amazon for like a year before anyone else caught on. And the guy made a fortune. He homeschooled 6 kids, and the guy posted a video that he's taking his kids to Disney World thanks to Ace, But I'm just saying, like, you find these guys, and everyone finds their own niche, Guy like Michael Gindy, he didn't know what was flying. He used to make goods in China. We told him, go do retail arbitrage. He thought we were nuts. He's right in our backyard. He's next door to us. And the guy did $2 million in his first year doing retail arbitrage right here in New Jersey, down the block. He goes to the same stores Jackie goes to. But the guy has a work ethic, and he worked, and he hustled, and he, started with 20 grand, So, and there's hundreds of these stories, But, my point is, if you, it's good to diversify. It's good to sell anything. I always say we sell anything we can make money on. But once you know a niche, you could dominate Amazon because you know it better than anyone. You know what sells. You know what to buy. You know how quickly it sells. You know how profitably it sells. You know who your competitors are. And Eric, you'll appreciate this. There's one item. It's funny. I was just looking it up for one of the new clients. This is an item that we bought. It was a closeout. It's amazing that it's still selling. You remember this, Eric?
Yeah.
So we bought 63 pallets of this. It was a closeout from the manufacturer. We paid $8 each.
Oh, you went in with.
Christos.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now I remember this.
Look what it's selling for now.
You got it in left, or they all gone?
They're all gone. I think we sold the last one for $69 this Q4. But I'm just saying, something like this, we knew it was going to be discontinued. We knew it was a popular kids show. For those of you that have kids, this business becomes easier because you know what's hot. For those of you that don't, spend some time on Nickelodeon, spend some time on Warner Brothers and Disney and YouTube. You know, Melissa will give you the whole Disney rundown. She'll tell you every movie that's coming out for the rest of the century. Right? Frozen's coming out with another movie. Star Wars is coming out with another movie. These things sell like crazy, you know? So pop culture is a huge part of this business. We made a ton of money when Deadpool came out, Star Wars, obviously, Frozen. Anything that's, you know, licensed does very well. I've had people come in here, 2 different guys in the last 2 weeks that I know from our community. One guy went to Warner Brothers, and this you'll appreciate. It's kind of like private label, but it's next level. They went to Warner Brothers, and they had an idea to put licensed characters on laundry baskets and hampers and storage cabinets, and the guy's killing it on Amazon making this stuff. Okay? You know what that costs to make in China, right? So stuff like this, and he's selling the crap out of it at $20. The other one's selling for $40. And he made a deal with Warner Brothers, and you got to have a little bit of guts to do this, but he went in and said, you know, let me have the license for these products. He's paying them 14% royalty. He guaranteed them $25,000 a year in royalties, so he doesn't have to sell too much to cover that. But he's selling to Target. He's selling to Walmart. He's selling on Amazon. He used to sell to Amazon, but then he realized that was a mistake, right? And now he's selling this. This is his. And I think, you know, we told him to narrow it down to just the basic Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. This is a friend of mine makes these. This is Jay Franco. I don't know if you know the company. It's in the community. But these things, you know, obviously are not $30, you know, pop-up hampers, even with the royalties. And then I had my cousin came in a couple of days ago, and I'll show you this because he has the exclusive on it. And he also went to Warner Brothers. He literally got on the phone with Warner Brothers, and he said, I want to make, and this is a very hot category right now, compression sleeves. And you ever see like the NBA guys, how they wear, or Brett Favre with this copper fit? He's blowing up the world with it. And he's making, and so he either wants to go partners with us or he wants me to consult, you know, act as a consultant. And this, he's paying like $3 landed $3 with the 14%.
With the 14?
Yeah, he's paying like $250, I think he said. So I mean, you know, things like this. Just a brief overview. You know, my community that I come from, the Sephardic Jewish community, are the kings of licensed goods. Okay, they take a basic product like a compression sleeve or a hamper. They marry it with a brand like Disney's Frozen or Star Wars or Batman or Superman. They find the right factories in China. They get a graphic designer, and they basically make these things. They get the approval on the artwork from Warner Brothers or Nickelodeon or Disney or whoever. Marvel Comics is another big one. And then they bring it to the retailers, and they say, hey, I got Superman, I got Elsa and Anna, I got this, I got Star Wars. And then they make a fortune. So I know guys that have these licenses for pretty much anything you could think of, from socks to sunglasses to underwear. And now there's compression sleeves and hampers. It's just a matter of what can I marry with a proven license like Disney or Warner Brothers or, we sell, unless there's something cool, we sell Superman socks, not for kids, for adults. And they have these capes on it. How cute is that? And they sell like crazy. Yeah, imagine you go to work, you go to corporate America in a suit, and you pull up your pants. Look, I'm Superman. I'm Batman. It's a huge market. It's a huge market. You got Wonder Woman? I'm just saying, if you think outside the box, you could do a lot in this business. Here's Batman. Melissa, we got to order some stuff. She there? Not there. All my jokes are going out the window. Anyway. Yeah, so that's basically a mindset and investing in your business. I know I went off on a tangent, as I usually do. We have a software called Seller Engine Plus. It's $50 a month, but it'll save you hundreds and hundreds in shipping. So we manipulate it to where we tell it we're sending 100 pieces, and then it splits it up into multiple shipments, and we only ship the one that's closest to us. Hi, babe. How are you? What's doing? Where's the boy? Oh.
It just came to finish.
Oh, okay, good. My daughter.
Sorry.
One of them. No. How's he feeling now? Yeah? Okay, good. My grandson was in the ER Friday night. He had a ear infection. He had excess mucus and he was coughing and throwing up. So they put him on amoxicillin, and then 2 days later he had 104 fever. So they freaked out. But he had RSV virus.
Okay.
It's a very common virus in infants. And then he had adenovirus, which I had never heard of, but it was 2 different viruses with the ear infection. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. He'll be 1 next month. Yeah.
All right, my second question.
Sure.
eBay shipping.
Yes.
Are you using USPS through the eBay site?
So that's not a fair question to ask me because I haven't done eBay in 7 years and I started a week ago.
Oh, I didn't realize.
But what I will tell you is we tried UPS and it was outrageous. So we switched to USPS.
Okay.
We're predominantly doing priority like for shoes.
Okay.
And it's costing between $5 and $9 through eBay.
Okay.
And then if it's something like smaller, he's doing first class, which is $2 or $3.
Yeah.
But for now, we're doing it through eBay. If you're an eBay seller, you can get discounted UPS rates. Did you set that up?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I just didn't know if you guys, because you're doing a decent volume, if you were using something like ShipWorks or ShipStation.
So I'm looking into ShipWorks. My neighbor, Jaime, he does a ton of eBay business. He does a lot. I help him with Amazon, and so now he's helping me with eBay. He uses ShipStation.
ShipStation, okay.
I used to use Stamps.com back in the day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I know a lot of people here sell on eBay, so maybe someone has a better answer than me. Anyone?
We talked about it a long time.
Okay.
I told, wait a minute, we use ShipRush. But I've heard great things about ShipStation.
Okay. I haven't looked at it closely enough yet.
I was talking with ShipStation when we were in Vegas.
Okay. Right.
Really nice guys. The product seemed solid. I just didn't know, how the prices actually compare.
Right.
Their marketing spiel. I
Right.
want to know if somebody was actually using it.
Right.
Yes, I ship 30 packages a month, and I'm saving X dollars.
So I'm researching all this now in my spare time. I'll let you know.
3 a.m.
Exactly. Right, USPS. And then if it's under £1, you do first class. If it's over £1, you do priority. You don't do something. It's automatically insured for $50.
No, we figure we're self-insured.
Self-insured. Okay. Right, cost of doing business. Right. No, but I think priority is automatically insured $50.
You get up to that part.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So if you're not doing
Right.
first list, you're doing priority?
Yeah.
2-day priority?
It's 1 to 3 days.
1 to 3.
Yeah. I think it depends where it's going to. Yeah.
Right now, we're doing first class work partial, the 2 to 9 day.
Okay.
But
Is that much cheaper than priority?
I have to look at it.
I don't think it pays.
It really is.
There's not.
Priorities are cheaper
Okay.
than Parsons.
Oh, really?
Believe it or not.
I thought it was comparable, and I said for that small difference in price.
Weight and all that, I used to go-
What's the average selling price of your eBay?
A little lower than my Amazon, so 25 to 30
Okay.
dollars.
So I would do priority.
Yeah.
You don't want to piss people off.
Now,
9 days, I'd shoot someone if my package took 9 days. Could you imagine?
2-day handling?
Could you imagine that? You gotta wait 2 weeks, I'll come pick it up. I
Do you
mean,
worry about how much money you got in the product, or you just sell it for whatever it'll sell for? You take it?
right now on eBay, I literally am sitting on $1 million in dead inventory.
You don't care about.
You know, it's funny because I was putting Under Armour sneakers on there for $50. So they're selling on Amazon for 60. So I put it on eBay for 50, and then they're offering me 35. I'm like, screw you! You're not getting it for 35. My wife's like, what are you doing?
At least that's 35.
Where else are you going to sell? I don't have anywhere else to sell it.
Yeah.
If I go to a liquidator, I get 2 cents on the dollar. If I go to a flea market,
You might just 5 cents.
how much aggravation and time. So now maybe I'll counter them at 45. I do it on my phone. It's fun. It's fun. It's annoying, but it's fun. No, eBay, I hate it. It's like everyone has the same reaction. I hate it. It's a necessary evil. And I shut it down for 7 years. But you know what? It was
your investment.
no, but when I made the calculation, it was literally 5% of my business and 50% of my aggravation. So I just said, screw it, shut it down. It was a collection.
No problem.
What else you got?
That was it. That was my only feedback.
Wendy? Annette? Paul? Scott? Mike? Sure.
So talking about eBay Regional Box A and B, finding that super useful.
What's that?
Regional Box A and Regional Box B.
I don't know what that is.
So when you have something that's over 16 ounces, you can't send it first class mail. This is
Right.
a cheaper alternative to priority mail, depending on where you're sending it.
It has to be on
Sending
your
it
side of the
to
country?
North Carolina, it's going to be cheaper than priority mail. If you're sending it to California, priority mail is going to be cheaper.
Interesting.
And that once you input the weight and the dimensions of the box, you can put in the priority mail, get the price, and this is through the eBay software.
Okay.
And then you just choose the drop down, and it doesn't matter weight or dimension because you have 2 sizes for bag and 2 sizes for big. It'll give you a price for that. So if you have something that's 4 pounds, for example,
Okay.
it could be substantially less in cost to ship.
Harry, you listening? Okay.
Number 1. Number 2, I found out at Reebok, anyone can get the Uncle Jackie discount if you have a AAA fund.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Or military.
Or military, or
Jackie gets extra discounts at Reebok. And he gets that at every store, but yeah, Reebok, yeah.
You spend $100 on the AAA membership, and you can get 20% off without touching glass anytime you go to Reebok.
I just had to get AAA for some reason.
And all Jackie gets discount plus discount.
Yeah.
Like,
He gets 40 off and then 20 and 20.
yeah, no, I don't know what it is.
I was literally with him once, and they didn't scan a pair of shoes, and it was a $150 pair of shoes, and the lady just did some witchcraft on the cash register and gave it to him. I was like, how'd you do that? I was like, what just happened? It was like magic. I was like, that's $150 you just made me. Yeah.
I guess I have a question. One of my struggles is people, employees.
One of my struggles is people. I like that.
Is finding and keeping and training, getting good people up to speed. And I'm just curious with Jackie, for instance, how long it took you to teach him the ropes? Because I know what I
He's
know.
special. He's unique.
All
So
right.
Jackie and I go back to the flea market together. His nephew actually helped me when I was struggling. And then Jackie hit a rough patch, and his nephew's like, "Can you help my Uncle Jackie?" I'm like, "Sure." And we actually stood side by side selling stuff in the flea market together. The same stuff. And we covered each other's backs and everything. And then he opened a store in Atlantic City, and he literally did business 2 months out of the year. And so I saw him in the bagel store one day. I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I have a store in Atlantic City." I said, "You making money?" He goes, "No." I said, "So come to me. We'll figure something out." And we figured something out. He actually came in here because of his connections. He's like, his relatives are all worth hundreds of millions and billions of dollars, not even exaggerating. And so he was getting me meetings with certain people, and we developed business relationships with them, but then he was like bored, like jumping. You see Jack, he doesn't sit still. So I said, "You want to do retail arbitrage?" I didn't know if he would do it because it's, it's work. And he loved it. He loved it. Now he won't stay in the office. He comes in for an hour, he checks his emails, who's got sales, where am I going today, gift cards, credit cards, boom, 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 boom. And he goes. I asked him to help me last week. I said, "Do me a favor, help me in the warehouse one day last week. So help me get organized, get stuff to Amazon faster, help with the client stuff, this stuff." He was going crazy. He goes, "I want to go shopping. I want to go shopping. I want to go shopping." He goes 6 days a week. He goes every Sunday he works. God bless him. He's 68 years old. He just lost 80 pounds in the last 6 months or last year. He's got more energy than all of us, But he's unique. He's unique. He's not. I told you yesterday, I kissed a lot of frogs here. We just hired 2 people that didn't last a month. Man, I'm taking myself out of the hiring now too, because that's not my area of expertise. I'm like, "Yeah, Excel? No problem." By the way, I'm a schmuck. I must have asked 100 people, "Do you know Excel?" Right? That's not the way you ask the question, right? Because it's got to be an open-ended question. It can't be like a yes, no. So now I'm like, "Show me how to do a pivot table. Show me how to do a VLOOKUP." And they're like, deer in the headlights. Yeah, well, even Jay, he lied to me, but he Googled it and he figured it out. And he'll be the first to tell you that. But it was good, And, you gotta talk to Melissa about that. She's much better. She checks references. She actually tests them, She watches them. She tells them what she expects from them. I don't do any of that shit. I'm like, sink or swim, Most people sink. Ike, he was a college student, and he's like, "I need a job for 1 day a week." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? Who gets a job for 1 day a week?" But we took him, and he finished college, and he's like, "No, I want to work full time." I'm like, "Yeah, now he's like key guy." It's like weird. Like I can't say there's a pattern for finding the right people, and I've listened to pretty much everybody about how to hire rock stars, and Tony Robbins talks about it, and Russell Brunson talks about it. It's not my area of expertise. Maybe it shouldn't be you. I would talk to Melissa. They tell you how to write the ads. We're looking for a rock star.
I'm trying to get a picture right now, and we're looking for someone for customer service.
Right.
We had someone walk out, so we're 25% down.
Right.
We only have 4 people.
Right.
So
Sucks.
all
Yeah.
3 of them are busy.
Yeah.
I like to ask them to do the interviewing. It's tight. I mean, it's just
Right.
So
We don't even have time to interview people.
I'm trying to get a picture of this. I don't have to be picky, but I'm just asking a few more questions.
Right.
To try to avoid what happened 2 weeks ago. And my question, one thing is, okay, so I run the ad on Indeed, and so anybody who was relatively decent, I shoot an email, call me between certain times, and I do a little phone, 5-minute phone.
Wendy, have them make a video. You'll get rid of 90% of the crap. Hey guys, come in. Welcome. You go. Sure, Heather. This is my neighbor Jaime, by the way. He's a private label expert. If anyone needs help. Who's this? I have no idea who you are. Sorry? Nice to meet you. Sam Cohen. You're welcome to stay, sit. Coffee? Yes. We're trying to figure out how to hire people. No. Melissa, you want to shed some light at hiring people, which I suck at?
Oh, he does something. You're so bad, it's not even funny. So.
Don't close that door. Don't do it.
Wow.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Wow.
Loud.
You're hot, you're like the breeze.
I forget it. Nobody wants to hear from you.
So you're so mean. So hiring people, and there is a video that I did last time we were here. We use Indeed to hire people. So what are the questions that you had?
Okay, so I'm starting to screen it a little bit. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so I do a little phone screen. If I don't like them on the phone, I'm not gonna.
Right.
Yeah.
I like them on the phone, I call them in.
Yeah.
At that point, I have about 70% chance they're gonna show up.
Yeah.
Show up.
Oh yeah, I know all about that. I know all about it.
They don't show up, or they want, they don't have an emergency, whatever.
Right. They're out.
That's fine. I didn't do my sentence. But they come in, so I've had maybe 10 or so in so far.
Yeah.
And I hand them a business, and I keep it 20 minutes.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And I hand them a business card at the end, and I said, please, when you get home, think about the job, think about what we learned today, think about any more questions you have, send me an email.
Yeah.
I'm weeding them down to 2 or 3
Yeah.
out of 10.
Uh-huh.
They don't even bother to
They
send
don't even.
Okay, so how much in this job that I'm hiring for is pretty, it's pretty detail oriented. They're
Yeah.
doing my eBay and Amazon.
Right.
Shipping, they're doing customer service, gotta get all the stuff accurate on the phone.
Yeah.
Down details of it.
Right.
Okay, so.
Hire women.
It's all women, which is kind of,
They're much more detail oriented.
well, okay, so I get this girl, like her person, her resume's not bad, blah, blah, blah. She shows up at all goes well, and she actually emails me, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
2 grammatical errors and a run-on sentence besides of a
Oh, well,
paragraph.
see, this is
And
that.
I'm
You're
like-
asking, look, he's laughing because he knows you're talking to the wrong person about that stuff. Because
I have no patience.
I will destroy you. I will destroy you.
Okay, so now I'm done. I have no, and I wanted to tell my husband's like, that's fine.
You may want to overlook those grammatical errors.
My husband's like, okay, you tell her when you hire her that she has these grammatical errors and tell her it never ever happened again, but you're gonna hire her. And I'm like, well, I don't know. It's like, if you're sending a thank you email,
Yeah.
shouldn't you?
You should. But here's the thing.
Use Grammarly.
That's what I'm gonna say. That's what I'm gonna say. Yep.
You and I.
It's generational.
Yeah.
Are at a different age.
Yeah.
Or are a similar age. A lot of these younger people,
Yeah.
and no offense to the younger people here, they weren't taught the same things about grammar and thank you notes and.
It's
that
a
kind
text
of thing.
message generation.
And punctuation.
Punctuality.
Yeah.
Punctuality.
So it's
What'd you say, Ed?
that burns my soul. It burns my soul. So I know
The
that
millennials.
that a lot of times, like I'm the grammar police here. I proofread things. Like Sam likes to send things out in all caps, and we go through it and like all the time. And I'm like, you can't send this out to people. And he's like,
See, I know better. I just don't care.
exactly. See, so I think that it is like a like text message. Like people aren't used to it. I see it all the time. I hired a warehouse worker and the person that's taking over for wholesale, and I went through a lot of people. I had someone who
Did
came
you
in
fire her?
for the wholesale, but she's over there.
Okay.
I went to exactly. I went to hire. I was interviewing for the wholesale position. We had the woman came in and we had a full-on conversation, and she thought that she was being interviewed for a warehouse position.
Right.
So I've gotten all kinds of spectrum of interviews. The key thing that you have to do is check on references. That's where you're going to find
Like
out
Kevin?
about these people. He was just suspicious. So what you have to do is you have to look and see who is giving them a reference. Like ask for professional references, like straight up. I asked for professional references. One boy, he gave me someone that he worked with, and he gave me one of his teachers. So I called up and I talked to the teacher, and I said, oh, well, can you explain to me some of his work ethic? And he goes, oh, well, I haven't really talked to him in a while, so that's a red flag right there. Like, how old is this reference that you're giving me? Why don't you have another reference from a managerial position that can tell me how you've been doing.
Right.
Ask them those things, like how detail-oriented are they? Have they sent out emails for you? Have they posted things for you? How is their grammar? They're going to be working in this position. Ask them these things. Don't talk to people like you have to like kind of go in the conversation knowing how it's going. I had someone else, they gave me a whole bunch of references of people that they worked with that they were just friends with. So your homie is telling me things like, of course they want you to have the job. They're your friend. They care about you. Like you need to talk to supervisors and people that are going to be honest about their performance, because sometimes people make mistakes. Irene sent me the letter telling me that to come in for the interview. There was a grammatical error in that. So it happens sometimes. Like sometimes people are nervous and they're excited, or their computer isn't working, and exactly.
She's not one, so, and I'm all I'm doing is, and we've just had so, I kind of have a forum.
Yep.
For people there to stay all the time, and it's great.
Yeah.
But we're having this revolving door.
Right, what's up?
I'd rather be in pain for a month right now
Mhm.
than be looking at the
Right,
person
right.
that I have to fire.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Tell them we
I'm trying to make
have a probationary period.
Right.
Everyone goes through. You have 90 days where you
It
have
works.
to prove your worth, or you got to get out. So if you want to talk to their,
we're making our probationary period pretty strict with,
Yeah.
these are the 5 things I'm starting to
Right.
document.
Are you doing 30 days or 90 days? 90. You should do 90.
maybe you're 60.
I think 90 is good because they say that it takes, 50 to 60 days to develop habits.
Yeah.
So if someone's good for 90 days, they're probably going to be good forever. If they're not good for 90 days, then there's no point.
And you want to give them time to get in and get comfortable, so they're not on their P's and Q's. So they get comfortable, so that
Right.
you can see, okay, are you going to stick to the protocol and what's expected of you, or are you going to just lounge around because you've gotten comfortable in your surroundings?
So we've had people that were great for 2 weeks, and then they started watching cartoons all day.
Yep, playing video games.
Playing video games, supplements.
All kinds of things. Yeah.
And for the people in your warehouse,
Mhm.
what kind of person do you look for that? I mean, currently I have my other people doing it, I'd like to dedicate a person
Yeah.
to that job. Because I feel like my people are splitting their time.
I think if you have standard operating procedures, you just need people who follow the rules. If you don't, okay, you got it. Because like I said, the system's most important, because then you can plug anyone in. If you want them to take initiative and make decisions, it's a different kind of job, right? So the more that you can systematize and automate, and the more that you can manage from 10,000 feet, the better off you'll be. And I know you have a lot of that in place.
Some of that place. I mean, that's my biggest struggle, honestly.
So you have to build your business that you can hire another 1, 5, 10 people. Because the 3 of you know your business so intimately that it's hard to transfer to an outsider, it sounds like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you know your business so well, it's hard for you to hire a random person to come in and
It has to be.
fill those shoes.
And we try. I mean,
Right.
Making stuff.
Right.
Making stuff.
Right.
When like terms of systemizing
Right,
it, everything's documented.
Right.
Current
Right.
documentation, screenshots and stuff.
right,
If the event, we all, couldn't come in for a straight week, in theory, I could put any.
Right,
in there.
right. But, so you got it. What I found, and one thing I'm good at, is people that are resourceful, and people that want to learn,
Yep.
and people that know how to figure stuff out. Those are the characteristics I look for. She didn't know jack shit
I didn't
a
know.
year ago,
I did.
but she taught herself, and she literally went home and watched videos, and she replaced Jay in so,
Yeah.
Yeah, and Ike too. Ike didn't know Excel when he got here.
Yeah.
That's you got to learn it. I think he's like a freaking
Yeah.
magician now.
Some of you who have been around, Eric and Paul, know that when I first started working here, I wasn't in this position at all.
She was a teacher.
So,
Teachers are good, by the way, for coaches. Ike's a guitar teacher. Melissa's a teacher. I don't know. What do you teach?
social studies.
Oh, boy. You and I are polar opposites.
I know.
I hated
Fight
social
all
work.
the time.
Had no value in my life.
Uh,
I was math and science. I don't care what happened 300 years ago. I'm not going to war anytime soon. Astonishing position.
Oh, you're killing
Social
me right
studies.
now.
Social studies. Destined to recruit.
There you go.
So you kind of hear about you passed the highway off to your.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's not allowed. He's not allowed. Nope.
But I got a few winners. Neil's been great. Jackie's awesome. Ike's awesome. Who hired you?
Jay.
Jay.
Yeah.
Her and Jay are very similar.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
And who hired Jaquel?
You
I
and
hired her on the
Irene-
video.
You and Irene did questionable.
But she came in with attitude.
But out of the 3 people that got hired in that period,
She made it.
only one is still here.
Yeah.
So I mean, it even happens. It even happens with us.
Oh yeah, tell them about Kevin. So we
Yeah.
needed a new guy to the warehouse for wholesale. That seems to be our Achilles heel, wholesale here and wholesale there. And Melissa got a guy, came from Best Buy. He had checked his references, all checked out. The guy was psyched for the job. He came in, he was learning, he was taking copious notes, and he didn't show up one day.
Yep.
And he didn't answer his phone. I mean, we never know. We don't know if he's dead or alive.
He's alive.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he showed up at Best Buy at his other job.
Oh.
Yeah, he's alive.
I think it was too much for him to.
Yeah.
I don't know if he had the mental aptitude.
So it happens. Sometimes you have to kiss a lot of frogs to find a prince.
Yeah.
Just know, since I've been here, we've fired a lot of people just because they don't fit into the culture.
And some of them are sociopathic, pathological
Liars. Like, I'm a hawk. Like, I tell Sam, like, I know about everything
Yeah.
way before anybody else does. Like, if we hire someone, like, I'm hawking them out.
And she
Like,
gets
I know-
offended.
I do.
If somebody's not
yeah,
working, she gets offended.
because I know that I bust my behind, and it aggravates the hell out of me to
And-
see someone else not doing it.
And there was a 2-week period where I barely came into the office. I was working from here.
Yep.
And my wife was quarantined for a week in our bedroom because she didn't want to get my kids sick. She had like a nasty flu after she got the flu shot. And so I literally was mom and dad and businessman and everything for an entire week. It was the most exhausting week of my life. And then my son got sick. And he doesn't get sick very well. He's had seizures and he's had a lot of issues. So we were really nervous. So for 2 weeks, I didn't really come in here for more than an hour a day. And there were 2 people working here, and I knew they weren't really working. And it was driving me crazy that I'm paying these people, and they're not working, and I have to babysit them, and I have to worry about what they're doing when I'm not there. And I just said, you know what? I can't do that. Now I can go on vacation. Everybody that's here works their ass off. And I don't have to worry. Nobody's stealing. Nobody's slacking off. Nobody's doing anything they shouldn't be doing. And it's a great feeling, that you can. Tomorrow I'm going to a conference. We're not going to lose productivity because I'm not here.
We'll still be on time, better on time when he's not here.
Yeah.
Hiking out.
And you listen to Tony Robbins. You listen to these guys. Sometimes you're the bottleneck in your own business. You got to get out of the way. These people probably work better when I'm not here. Let me stay in my lane, do what I do best, sell ACE, build up ACE, work on, with my CFO and my accountants and my attorneys and, let me do what I do and, buy, I'll buy closeout deals. I'll buy, fun stuff. But, I shouldn't be managing people. I can't manage myself,
I think it's tough for us too, because we're all, for the most part, type A personalities.
Yes.
And the reason why you're hiring because of that personality, and if you're that critical over a 12-hour
Right.
job,
Right.
you get what you pay for it.
Yep.
Sometimes you gotta let things go, and I'm guilty of the type A personality. I've got 2 great employees now, but prior to the 2 guys that worked for me, I was interviewing that.
Right.
And I was so critical, and I'm time for this. And a very good friend of mine's high-level executive for a tech company. I'm going to narrow it down to 5.
Oh, yeah.
Sure,
That's great.
And he chose the one that worked, and then she ended up leaving for maternity reasons. And
Right.
I don't know that I would have chosen. I don't know that I would have had that frame of mind because my friend, he's got a great position. He's a father.
Right.
I've never had the courage that he'd probably do a hell of a lot.
Isn't that amazing?
But it's just not his personality. But because he's been in that corporate environment for the better part of 2.5 decades, he's good at that. And I'm going to leverage
Right.
that skill because I know it's something I can't do. It took me a while to realize that, but that totally set my mind away because I trust the judgment because he's done it more often than I have. He's had to let people go. He's had to advance his team. I have a lot to do. Have a different fresh set of eyes.
And if we're being completely honest,
Someone that can good character. So you vetted the first 50, you get down to 5, and then let you make that.
right,
I took myself out of the resume process because I'm a stickler for grammar. If someone spells something wrong,
They're
I
out.
can tell you. Like I've gotten on her case about a ton of stuff
Uh-huh.
sometimes, just like small things, because that's just the way I am. Like she can tell you. I'm like, this is spelled wrong. This needs to be capital. Why is that capital? Exactly. Exactly. When she does something wrong, I'm like, you need to change it. So I don't look at the resumes. Jaquel does. And then she narrows it down, schedules the appointments, and then I interview. Because I wouldn't accept anyone. I wouldn't.
and one of the things I noticed is that the people that work here and stay here, they love what they do. We've had people here like Jay and Daniel that were more entrepreneurial, and so eventually they leave, right? Because they want to do it for themselves, or they think they're going to make whatever. And there's certain people that want a job, and there's certain people that are risk takers and want the roller coaster that is being an entrepreneur, right? I'm a genius. I'm an idiot. All in the same breath, So I think the people that are here, sometimes I get frustrated. Like even with Melissa and Ike, I'm like, why aren't they thinking like business people, right?
I'm like, why isn't he thinking about the people? Like, what about them?
And I'm like, damn, but if they were thinking like business people, they wouldn't be working for me. They'd be doing it. So we've had that. My nephew Daniel was great here. I mean, he did so much for me. And you know what? And he got married to my niece, and he needed to make more money than I could pay him, more money than it was worth to the company. And so I gave him my blessing. He went to go work for another Amazon guy. He presented it that he was my right-hand man, and, he brings a lot of value, so he got paid a lot more, and God bless him. But, he was here for a year, but he wasn't going to be here for 5 years. So, you got to look at the personality also, I think it's a little bit, I'm not going to say it's dangerous to hire entrepreneurs, but they're probably not long-term employees. And if I had to guess, it's probably about 10 former employees become Amazon sellers, from warehouse guys to buyers to, coaches. And, I don't think any one of them is really so successful because they only knew a certain part of the business and they didn't know the whole business.
So you hire people, is that okay? That was my concern.
So everybody's concerned when they hire buyers that, they're going to see how much money I'm making. They're going to do it for themselves. 90% of the people won't. They want a paycheck. They want to know. That's a different conversation. You got to be careful. I don't even want to take clients from our community because they smell money and they're like sharks in the water, No, it's a known fact in our community. A guy will go work for a successful guy, and he'll get someone to back him financially. He'll become a competitor inside of a year, and it's caused issues. But it happens. Well, I didn't even want to take this guy. You think I'm kidding? Ask him. I didn't want to take him as a client, but he told me he's got a wife and 2 kids, and he needs to make money. And somebody brought him here that I knew, and I decided to send him Michael Gindy. I wasn't going to work with Michael Gindy. But his brother called me. He's like, Michael needs your help. I said, okay, I'm in.
That best thing is not hire some
I would say, yeah, yeah. It depends what they're going to be doing for you. If they're going to be sourcing retail arbitrage, it's probably,
There's nothing you know there.
right. They're going to learn it and they're going to become your competitor tomorrow. But that was one of the struggles I had when I was doing the consulting. You know, I said, I'm going to teach hundreds of people how to do what I do. My wife even said to me, you're going to cannibalize your own business by teaching people what you do. But it hasn't happened. I have the abundance mentality. I know it sounds like BS, but the abundance mentality is you share and you give and you get back. You know, Paul could speak to this, and I can speak to this. You give and you give and you get it back, and you don't live in scarcity. You don't live in fear. You don't hoard information. You don't hoard money. You know, I'm very generous with charity, and you know, it comes back. It may not be linear, but it comes back. You know, somehow it comes back. It may be indirect. And Paul, you got to do some Tony stuff. I miss him. I don't know, man. Mindset, man. Make your move. Yeah, except it would be about 50 degrees cooler if Tony were here. Where's Adele? She left?
Yeah, they left it away.
Who do you think she is?
A business owner?
Yeah. No, so what does he say? He says there's three types of people. There's an entrepreneur, there's a manager, and there's an artist. You got to figure out who you are, and whoever you're not, that's who you need to align yourself with, right? So I'm definitely an entrepreneur because I'm all about making money. I'm somewhat of an artist because I love what I do, and I'm somewhat creative. I'm definitely not a manager. I suck at that. So I'll put Jay in place. I'll put Ike in place. Put Melissa in place. Put Jaquel in place. That's what these people do. They manage. It's not who I am. And I'm very self-aware. I think the most important thing in business is if you're very self-aware. You're like, I suck at. You hear me talk. I suck at this, and I know it. And I'm okay with it. You don't have to be great at everything. You're not going to be great at everything. So admit where you suck and find someone to help you. That's it. I'm telling you, it's not rocket science, right?
No.
You know.
And by the way, 99% of people I hired that are black have never done this.
No, but I understand what he's asking.
But where we're from, that's the
You
way
know,
it is.
no, I.
We are, no.
They leave school to purposely find someone that's doing something out of the box.
The father will tell the son, go work for this guy for a year, learn everything, and then we'll go. I mean, there are a bunch of merchants. There are a bunch of, if any of you have ever been to the Middle East, you go to, yeah, in the Middle East, you go to Israel, there's something called the shuk. And it's basically like, let's make a deal, they're selling, and everyone's, street peddlers and negotiators and hustlers and, it's just how we were brought up. Everyone's an entrepreneur and some of the guys in our community are billionaires. I mean, Century 21 department stores, Jordache jeans, Nobody Beats the Wiz. I mean, there's some really big companies. Some of the biggest real estate guys in New York. What?
Owns half the city.
Yeah, they own half of Manhattan. I mean, these guys are like, they're born to hustle, And so you got to be careful because they're always, if they see a guy making money, they'll tell their son, go work there for free. Learn. Dwayne Reed, yeah, but so that's one of my partners. That's David Cohen, Leon's cousin. That's our partner. Right. Well, we have a lot of Filipinos here. Yeah. Yes.
Like with the VA, that I've never, I've always just got really loyal hardworking. They're not.
The quality people. That's what it comes down to. It's not about where they're from. It's about, we've had, I had a guy who came off like the greatest guy in the world and ripped me off for $200,000, and I took him to federal court and we won the case, but you never know who's gonna screw you. It's not a certain type of,
Yeah, that's true.
It's not a certain type. And I've had people that I thought, I wouldn't trust them with $1, and they turned out to be my best suppliers. Yeah. I mean, you never know. You don't know until you know. It's You got to be careful in business. There's a lot of unscrupulous people, to say the least. And I think if you do things the right way, then you'll come out ahead. You know, it's my opinion. You know what they say about opinions, right?
Thank you. I mean, a long answer to the question.
Yeah, it's not a simple answer, but you know, you may have to go through a few people to get, but when you get them, they're worth their weight in gold, you know? And you know, like I said, we start everybody on trial period and we say you have 90 days, and in 90 days, either you're going to be worth more than what we're paying you. Let's say you start someone at $10 an hour and say, okay, you're on trial for $10 an hour, 90 days. After 90 days, one of three things is going to happen. You're going to be worth more, and we'll gladly give it to you. Or you're going to be worth what we're paying you, and that's fine. Or you're not going to be worth that, and we'll see you later. You know, when you put it someone like that, they realize they have to commit. Because you also want them to commit. You don't want them just to punch in, punch out, get a paycheck, go home. You know? And some of my best employees started at, you know, $10 an hour, and then they graduated, you know, to much more than that. So it's a process, or a process if you're from Canada. Yeah, listen, we're not perfect, but we just have a lot of experience. What else you guys got? So it's 4:15. Okay. So I just want to go around. I just want to go around the room. Everyone's at different stages of the business. Is usually very helpful to everybody, both newbies and experienced sellers. Barriers to growth, and I think I probably know everyone's barriers to growth, but I think it would help to hear it from. Yeah, it's 4:15. Oh, you're doing like some sort of Facebooking, live streaming? Okay, sure, that would be great. I didn't know if you're doing separate sessions or continuous.